But anyway, here we go, guys. We're gonna start with NoLimit Proxiz versus ZeyRo White. This is gonna be a 1v1. It is gonna be Otak for ZeyRo White against Juicy for NoLimit Proxiz. And we are off. Both players are making that part look very easy. And straight away Otak takes a side lead, but Juicy goes very inside, tries to attack. Otak will have more exit speed, and it's still super close. Juicy barely in the lead again with a more inside line, which means Otak could carry slightly more speed over this stretch. Again, Juicy seems to be going for the more inside lines in every turn, but this time it really doesn't pay off, because Otak has created a slightly bigger gap right now, and Juicy crashes there. That's actually a big mistake, which gives the round to Otak, who only has to survive all the way till the end. The map isn't that difficult in its remainder, and this shouldn't be a problem for Otak. So there we go, 1-0 for ZeyRo White. Started off really close. Clearly both players have the required pace, but then Juicy made a crucial mistake, and Otak was able to take full profit of it. So here we go in round 2. Can Juicy strike back straight away, or will Otak start creating a little gap for himself in the overall scoreboard? Again, almost the same start. They're so close to each other here. Juicy again a little more inside. Otak barely has more speed, and feels like we've seen this before. Otak overtakes here on the gray part. But this time Juicy with a much better line. He's gonna avoid the wall there on the right. Both of them are still neck and neck. Otak now created a small gap, but Juicy is trying to strike back. 2 more turns left. Juicy again with a more inside line overtakes the lead. It's all gonna come down to the last turn. Juicy is trying his best, but Otak overtakes him. And that's gonna be a second point for ZeyRo White. With an incredible ending there by Otak. Super close round. And that means that ZeyRo White are 2-0 up. So Juicy just needs to fix that ending of his, and he might have a real chance of winning here. Again, both players survived the entire start, no problem there. But this time Otak should have more speed than usual here, and will create some distance towards Juicy. Again, we see those different lines here, and Otak's just seem to be slightly better. Juicy almost makes the same mistake as in round 1, but manages to avoid it last second. But that will allow Otak to create so much distance between him and his opponent. So Otak right now with a 0.25 lead. Don't think he's gonna throw this away in the end. He just needs to save it, and that will be another round for ZeyRo White. He's not driving as fast as he did in those warm-up rounds, but it still seems to be enough. And I think that's the scariest part here for Juicy, because Otak can clearly do even better than he's doing now. Next round, here we go. Otak is a bit in front right now. More than a car length, and is only extending here. Juicy again super close to the wall and clips just a bit, which will allow Otak to have a comfortable lead at this point. Usually he even extended it in this particular turn, so right now it's over half a second. Otak very close there to the walls. He knows he can't afford to save it, because it's really hard to catch up almost half a second on pure pace. Juicy is trying his best, but this is mission impossible right now. And Otak might be running away with this submatch already. It's gonna be another point for ZeyRo White. 4-0 for Otak, and Juicy needs to pull something special out of the bag right now if he wants to come back in this sub-match. Round 5, here we go. Still no mistakes at the start. Both players are clearly very well prepared for this and performing out of their minds, especially Otak, who is putting so much pressure on the Juicy just to drive faster and faster, and clearly Juicy cannot follow him. And just as I say that, he is in the lead in this particular round. For the first time he has over 0.1 of a gap in this section, so this time it's Otak actually who needs to push it a bit more in order to win the round. We've seen him have that incredible end, so he's definitely capable as he's coming so close and even overtakes Juicy there. Now it's Juicy who needs to overtake him back if he wants to finally get a point on board. Otak has a much better angle for the end, and this will be another point there for ZeyRo White. Are we looking at a clean sweep here? Super close round in the end. At one point it looked like Juicy just might take it finally, but Otak wasn't having any of it. So Juicy super close on the inside. Kind of does pay off because he's still in the race, but Otak will have so much more speed coming out of the downhill, and Juicy with a mistake once again, leaving Otak all alone up in the lead. Now surely Otak will know how far ahead he is, and that he only has to avoid kissing the walls at this point. Just look at how far away he is from the walls. He knows what he's doing. He knows he doesn't have to risk at all. He can afford to go super safe, because the Juicy is actually falling further and further behind. And just one turn remaining. Otak is in a sub-match point situation. 6-0, incredible performance so far. We haven't seen a single crash yet from him. And Juicy just can't seem to cope with that consistency. He actually needs to win 7 in a row now if he wants to take the sub-match point. Because as we know, the number of rounds won doesn't matter at all. It's all about that sub-match point. So either Otak wins once in the next 7 rounds, or Juicy pulls out one of the craziest comebacks we've ever seen. He is barely in the lead at this point, but it's still anybody's round. Juicy again, he's having so much trouble there, and this should be it. There is no way Otak throws this away, right? Again, he will know how far ahead he is. It's even 4 seconds at this point. 1 turn remaining. He's surely not gonna miss the finish. And Otak wins with a 7-0. What an absolutely incredible performance. And it is gonna be Sebi and Nod versus Neodim and Vortex. Again, they're playing for 1 point overall. So we're off. Nobody makes their early mistake in the polls. And Proxiz with a slightly better start here. Both of them are in the lead. With a Vortex right now at the back, but it's all changing so quickly because after 1 turn Node was back, but then he pulled himself up into the lead almost, and it's switching so quickly. So right now it's looking like a draw with Sebi first, Nod in last, but it's super close, at least between second to fourth. Sebi there with a bit of a different line. I think overall he will lose just a bit, but the situation remains the same. It's still a draw unless Nod somehow overtakes both of these guys, but Sebi then makes a mistake and pretty much gives the round to ZeyRo. Nod right now needs to win it. He is pushing as hard as he can, and will he make it? And Nod with an incredible end does save his teammate. And it is a draw, but it looked like it's gonna be a draw because of Sebi in first and not in last, and it's actually the opposite. But either way, the score doesn't change, and we're gonna go into round 2 after an epic round 1. What a comeback there by Nod from 4th to 1st, saving his teammate, and I'm sure Sebi can feel great knowing that his teammate is capable of backing him up if he needs to. So going into round 2, Vortex is a bit behind again at the start. Doesn't have to mean anything, of course, as a Nod, they're super close. So Proxiz are in the lead right now. Neodim is trying to attack them. Vortex is still a bit behind, but it's only 0.1, so he can come back. Vortex trying to attack there with an inside line. Nod is losing ground rapidly, so right now it is looking like a ZeyRo round. If Neodim can keep that position, he goes super wide, loses out to Sebi. It's looking like another draw potentially. Neodim isn't having the greatest time here, might even lose that 3rd place here to Nod. Cannot get another insane end. No, he was so close, only 0.003 of a second between Neodim and Nod. But again, nothing changes as it is the 2nd draw. Nod is having those absolutely incredible ends. So at this point, ZeyRo need to be aware of that. If he's close behind them, he could get an attack and overtake 1 or 2 positions, and maybe even turn the whole round into the favor of NLP. So right now, again, good start for Nod. Seems like he has won every time, but Neodim makes a huge mistake. And now it's up to Vortex to get the round win here. Otherwise, we will be looking at the first point on board for either of the teams. Nod has a really nice advantage, but then gets a terrible landing there. Will allow Vortex to come back a bit. It's still super close, less than 0.05 of a second between all of these players. Now it's a bit more. Nod is coming back into that lead. Vortex still with a chance to attack, but it's just not happening for him. And what has Nod done there? Dear oh dear, he had it in the bag. Surely he had enough of an advantage, and he still manages to take the safe finish, at least getting a draw in the end. That's a massive throw there. It really should have been the first round win for NLP, but Nod misses the finish, and that is the 3rd draw in a row. So next round, Neodim again is behind after a mistake. So a very similar situation, however this time Vortex is a bit more behind than he was before. However, we've seen Nod lose a lot of time here. He had a 0.2 advantage, but then after this had much less. However, this time I think we can call this a NLP round win. Surely both of these guys aren't gonna miss the finish. They know that their age is ahead, and this should be a lot easier to hit. Yeah, this time not with a 0.4, and we finally have someone getting a point on board. With both ZeyRo players making mistakes and making this round a bit easier for the Proxiz guys. Let's see if ZeyRo can bounce back straight away. Neodim looking good in the start. This time it's Sebi in last, but Vortex joins him. Still super close at the start, but Nodan makes a mistake. So it's all up to Sebi to win. 2v1 now. Neodim has a nice lead. Vortex fighting with Sebi. They're around 0.1 behind Neodim right now. Who can take this corner the best? Who can risk it the most? Looks like it is Sebi. He has more speed than both ZeyRo players. He is coming so much closer there to Vortex. Neodim is kind of losing it, but he's still in it. Vortex versus Sebi, 1v1. Will this be a draw or a win for ZeyRo? This is super close, all up to the last turn. Nod is FMLing in the chat, so it's looking like a ZeyRo round probably if... Hello? So looks like NoLimit Proxiz will take that one. Because Vortex just had to finish. I mean, Nod said himself that he cannot finish. It didn't matter if he got first, second, third or whatever. I have no idea what Vortex was doing there, but that was as big of a gift as it can get. So 2-0 right now for NoLimit Proxiz after that weird round there. And the Nod is in the lead, trying to recover from that DNF. However, Vortex is going with the inside line. It's not really working out as his teammate Neodym has made a mistake. It's top 2 right now for NoLimit Proxiz. Vortex needs to do everything in his powers to take first here. Not again with different lines, but it will pay off for him in the end. Will both of them make the finish? Yes, they do. This is another point for NLP. And this time all the players make it into the finish ring, which is something we haven't seen in every round so far. A bit surprising because I have to admit I haven't seen this happening before. Anyway, at least they're consistently making the pole part. So let's see if ZeyRo can come back. They're quite far behind right now. And with the high possibility of a draw happening, they really need to start winning some of these rounds. NLP are only 2 rounds away from closing this sub-match and tying up the score. So again, both of their players are up ahead. So ZeyRo need to make something happen, which is exactly what Neodym is doing right now. Has so much speed, they're over the stretch and is attacking. He needs to take first here if he wants to get the draw at least. Vortex has made a mistake, so it's all up to Neodym at this point. Sebi and Nod looking solid. Nod, as I say, is dropping down a bit. Neodym has more speed than all of them. Neodym will save his teammate. No, what? Sebi actually finishes closer. And Sebi wins it for Proxiz. It's 4-0. I gotta admit, that definitely looked like Neodym had it. But then again, we know that the spectator thingy is not exactly the best. I'm sure most of you guys in the chat thought that Neodym won as well, because that's definitely what it looked like. But anyway, this is a sub-match point here right now for NoLimit Proxiz, and both of them are in the lead. Vortex already over 0.2 behind, so he might be relying on Neodym yet again. Oh, that's a big mistake from both of the ZeyRo players. Well, at least they're doing it together. Sebi crashes even though he really didn't have to push it. Can Vortex maybe overtake him? Because right now it's still around in favor of NoLimit Proxiz. Vortex is so far behind. So maybe if Nod misses the finish, is looking good. The gaps are huge. Nod will get it. Neodym will get it. Sebi will get it. And this is it. GG. We are witnessing another clean sweep. But this time it's for the other team. This time it's NoLimit Proxiz doing the clean sweep to ZeyRo. So there goes Nod with a solid time, and that means that we will be starting finally with the first of the 3v3s. So it's gonna be Nod, Panda and the Feed versus Aswer, Solusin and Vortex. So going into the first round, all 6 players survive the start. No problem for any of them, and it's super close. All of them are still within 0.1. It's impossible to call who's gonna take at this point, but as I say that, we see a huge mistake there from Aswer, who is gonna be completely irrelevant in this round right now. Looks like a Vortex has made a mistake of his own. He's over a second behind. This is definitely in hands of a NoLimit Proxiz. All 3 of them are in the lead, so this could still be an ace. Panda's having some big connection issues as he's lagging all over the place. But still, even if he does have an accident here, this should be enough for NoLimit Proxiz to take it. Feed is holding first. Nod is backing him up very nicely. Salosin isn't able to do much here. But as I say, that Nod with a massive mistake. But Panda manages to survive the round despite his issues. Gets the 4 points. And there will be 1-0 for NLP. So not that close, so from around the halfway point all the way till the end. Some big mistakes coming in from Azure and Vortex. So it wasn't that difficult for Proxiz to take it. However, this is a new round and we know anything can happen right now. Again, it's looking a bit better still for the red guys. Panda is just unspectatable at this point. And Azure with another huge mistake, and Vortex, they've made mistakes at the same places. So we're in the same situation yet again. It's 1v3, and unless Nod pulls a Nod and Panda disconnects, I don't think there's much Salosin can do here. Feed had to release there, didn't have the greatest angle, but this is still more than fine. All of his teammates are close within, and even Salosin has made a mistake, so this one should definitely be an ace. Feed with a very dodgy ending there. Of course, it doesn't cost him. So this is gonna be 2-0 right now. I'm not sure if it shows up straight away in the scoreboard or if it has to be restarted. Okay, so Flush is here, Panda is here. Finally, we are off. We are continuing. Everyone is in their appropriate team. I think we're actually continuing. This is not a mirage. This is the real deal. And right now, it's looking good for Team Red yet again, because the Feed is in first and the Node is quite close behind. As I say that, Vortex has made a mistake. Flush with another mistake in that same section. And have we seen this before? I'm pretty sure we have, because once again it's a 3v1 where Salosin is looking really bad because he is super far behind. Feed is struggling a bit, but the advantage they have is still massive. And it will take a miracle for this round to go ZeyRo's way. Feed again is jumping up to first. Salosin just isn't able to do anything here. Panda slightly dropping down. So right now it's not an ace anymore. And the NLP guys all survived the end. Not with quite a decent time. Dress 105.8. And that's a 3-0 here. So going into the next one. So far we've seen Vortex and Azure make mistakes in every single round. So if ZeyRo wanna get at least a point on board, that needs to change straight away. So Nod and Feed looking very solid there. This time it's Panda in last at this point, and none of the ZeyRo guys have made a mistake yet. This time it's Panda, so it's all up to Nod and Feed to get first and third at least. The top 5 is still super close. It's only Panda really who's far behind. The rest of them are within 0.2. Nod and Feed are 1 and 2 right now. So it's still looking good for NoLimit Proxiz. Salosin is the first one who will have the chance to attack. Now Azure is coming into it, but Nod and Feed just aren't slowing down at all. They are keeping those top 2 positions. It's all gonna be decided in the end. Azure is the closest. Azure will need to even win the round if he wants to get a point for ZeyRo, but looks like a Feed and Nod. Oh, Nod with a mistake there in the end, but still saves that 3rd place at least. And the Panda even manages to overtake Salosin, so it's heavily in favor of Team Red in the end. So 4-0. Are we gonna see another clean sweep? Because it's definitely looking like it at this point. Panda, they're a bit stuck at the start because of his internet. And the Salosin with the first mistake. So again, it's looking very grim for ZeyRo. They still have that big fat 0 on the scoreboard for this sub-match. And Feed just looks unbeatable on this map. Vortex trying to attack with the inside line, but makes a mistake. And again, we're in a 3v1 situation. I don't know what Azure needs to do here, but getting first isn't gonna be enough. Assuming he can't even do that, because right now it's NoLimit Proxiz who have the top 3 positions. They're looking absolutely relentless at this point, and they're giving ZeyRo no chance. So far we've just seen that one mistake from Panda. Nod and Feed have made some blunders in the end, but still overall it's always at least 2 of them making their way safely into the finish. I think they just tried to make that a bit more interesting, but that is still another point for them. So still a first, third and fourth for them. Dodgy ends by 2 of them, it's still enough. So going into the next round, they need just 2 more to close this out and at least secure a draw for themselves in this match. Nod already with a very strong start, and Salosin is in last. For some reason Otak is showing up in the CPS, I have no idea what's going on, but NoLimit Proxiz again are looking very solid at this stage of the round. No mistakes yet from the ZeyRo side, so this is the closest round we've seen yet. Now Team Blue are trying to attack, they're trying to put some pressure on the Proxiz trio, and it might actually work. Because if there's any part of the map where they've been a bit shaky, it's definitely the end. So if it stays like this all the way up until the end, it could be very interesting. But as I say, that it's Vortex with the first mistake. Still a 3v2, it's super close. I could still see any one of these players winning this round. However, it's looking very promising for the red guys. It's looking like Nod will take it, with Feed in second with a very tight line there. Manages to finish all the way on the right there of the finish, and takes that second place for a 6-0 lead. So sub-match point, and quite possibly the 3rd clean sweep we've seen in this match. It's really time that ZeyRo wake up, because it's now or never. They need to win 6 in a row in order to force the tennis mode, and maybe save something from this sub-match. But again, it's looking very grim. However, Nod makes a mistake, so it's up to Feed and Panda. We haven't seen this too much yet. It's a 3v2, well, not anymore, because Azure there with a mistake. Now we have a 2v2, but Azure still has an advantage over Nod. Nod is super far behind, so Azure should at least secure the 5th place. Right now, NoLimit Proxiz have first and third, so it's still around in their favor, which means Vortex or Salosin just need to advance 1 position in order to get a round win. Feed is doing everything he can to stay in the first position. Panda is in third, very close. Vortex needs to attack here. Vortex is the one who needs to win this for ZeyRo. Vortex needs to get first here. Will he do it? No. It's Feed winning the round with a low 0.7. Panda backs him up in third. Nod gets last, but that doesn't really matter because this is the 3rd clean sweep of the match. 7-0 for Proxiz. And here we go. It's gonna be Miquatro, Feed and Panda versus Otek, Accept and Tristan. ZeyRo looking to get the draw out of the match, while NoLimit Proxiz is looking to get another 5-1 victory today. So we are off, and again, the red team slightly better starts. Seems like they just go a little closer to the walls always, and get that little advantage going into the mid part of the map. However, Tristan gets there very nicely, but then drops down slightly again. Miquatro and Feed are creating a nice gap there. Panda has made a mistake, so it is up to his teammates to do something, but as we know, everything can happen in that end. This is still a round up for grabs, even though Feed and Miquatro have quite a nice lead. They're over 0.2 ahead right now. So there's only a question, can they keep it through the end? Is this enough to be able to go full safe mode? Looks like Miquatro did go extremely safe. Accept is trying to attack, and Miquatro will still get him in the end. And that is the top 2 for NoLimit Proxiz. Feed once again just carrying his good form from the first 3v3 and drives a 0.9 straight away, winning the first round for his team together with his teammate Mi4. And what Super is saying is definitely showing. Mi4 and Feed looked amazing in the first round. They've created quite a big gap very fast, and ZeyRo just weren't able to keep up with that pace. However, in round 2, it's Mi4 who's at the back right now. Feed, on the other hand, is doing very well, and Otak is the best ZeyRo player right now. So can Otak maybe make something happen, because Tristan and Acept are both at the back. They just cannot keep up at this point, so Feed is in first, and this is looking like another red round. Unless Otak can maybe snipe first, but then he still needs one of his teammates at least then to get third. It's not looking likely at this point, because Feed is holding on to the first place like he's holding on for his dear life. Otak is trying to risk it, but it's not gonna work out, and this is even gonna be an ace. Feed with a low 0.7, that is insane. Feed right now is driving out of his mind. And if he keeps this up, then I just don't think there's much ZeyRo can do. Because then Proxiz pretty much have a guaranteed first place in every round, and Tristan has already made a mistake. So that puts some more pressure onto the shoulders of his two teammates. Otak is trying to contest for the first place. Acept is behind, but Feed makes a mistake. So this is an opening maybe for ZeyRo. Acept, the very dodgy part there, but Mi4 makes a mistake as well. This round is all over the place, so it's Otak versus Panda for the round win. Mi4 is quite far behind, can't really get that third place. Feed is safe in fifth, Tristan is far behind as well. We don't really have a close fight, so ZeyRo do have the first and third, which is all they want, but Panda is trying to attack Otak. Can Panda maybe win the round here? Panda with an attack, he will win it. Will this be enough? 2, 3 and 5, no, it's still not gonna be enough, because Feed is only in fourth. So finally ZeyRo get a point, and this is the first point they get since the 1v1, which is quite incredible if you think about it. And maybe this will give them the confidence to smash NoLimit Proxiz's face in. Let's see if this can happen. Well, probably not in this round, because Acept is already down. So it's already a 3v2. Otak is in first. And Tristan is a bit behind, so I think Otak will have to get first here if he wants to win the round for his team. Now everyone survives this little pole section. It's super close still between the top 5. Panda in the lead right now, looking very promising for NoLimit Proxiz. Feed with the very inside line has to readjust. He's not gonna have a lot of speed. He can make that still, and it's still looking very good for his team. Panda in first, also showing that he's very capable on this map. Can he survive the end? That is very dodgy, but he does survive and even wins the round with that. Almost another ace, and that will be a 3-1 for NoLimit Proxiz. Early mistake from Acept, and then Tristan just had to push it maybe over his limit, and wasn't able to keep up with the red team, resulting in a mistake. So round 5, here we go. Still a lot of work to do here for NoLimit Proxiz if they want to close it up, because ZeyRo are showing signs of life, at least in this sub-match. Let's see, Feed is in first. And Acept right now is in last, with around 0.2 of a deficit. It's still very close, and mistakes can happen at any point. Panda almost there, crashing into the pool, but manages to save it. Otak is in first, but Tristan is dropping down, so it's still gonna be a red round, because all 3 of their players are between second and fourth. It's looking very good for him, but Panda is dropping in speed a bit. Tristan is trying to catch up to him. Otak is in first. Tristan needs to overtake 2 players here. It's just very unlikely at this point, because none of them are going to make mistakes. And Otak wins the round with a 0.7, but Mikwacha and Feed both with 0.8s. And that is another round going in favor of NoLimit Proxiz, who are now 4-1 up. Just 3 more needed to get the 5-1 victory in this match. Oh, but what a line there from Feed. So maybe this is the chance that ZeyRo were waiting for. This is already 3v2, but Accept makes a mistake. Can Feed catch up? Yes, of course he can. So Accept needs to readjust a bit. Doesn't make the jump there. So there won't be any DNFs, at least for now. But Tristan with a mistake. So it's a 2v1 up top. It's Otak versus Pandemic Watcher. Feed is in 4th. So again, this is kind of a mission impossible for Otak here. Nothing he does is really gonna change anything unless the red guys crash. So Tristan is over 2 seconds behind. There is no way he's catching up to Feed here. The NLP guys just need to keep their positions. They don't need to risk. Otak risks and it backfires massively. Could this even be NH? What happened to Feed? Well, Feed is having a nightmare in this round. And luckily for him, Otak had made a mistake there in the end. This could have maybe been different. But anyway, that is another round win for Proxiz there. And we see 2 early mistakes from Feed and Tristan already. So it's 2v2 up top. And right now, Tristan is the one with more speed. But Feed overtakes him, just as I say. That Accept with a very sloppy landing will allow the other 3 to kind of pull away. So Otak is in 1st. Accept all in 4th. Right now, it's still a red round. Accept needs to gain 1 position, assuming Otak stays in 1st. Let's see what's happening up front. I think Feed might be quite safe there in 5th. Yes, he is safe. So Otak is 1st. Accept needs to get 3rd somehow. Unless Feed trolls the ending yet again, this will be a red round. Otak, can he hold on to that 1st place? Yes, he can, but Accept can't really do much. And this is another round for NoLimit Proxiz, which puts them into the sub-match point. And the match point as well. This might be the end, guys. Is this gonna be the last round? Tristan already with a bit of a slower start. Doesn't have to mean anything, of course, as it's still within 0.1 of a second. No bigger mistakes in the start this time around. Only Feed and Tristan slightly behind, but Feed catches up so much over that little jump. Tristan just doesn't have the pace on this map. It's not looking good for him and his team. Even though Otak is in 1st, but Accept just needs to get 3rd here. All 3 red players are looking super solid. And if it stays like this, it's gonna be lights out here for ZeyRo. Can all 3 of them just survive the end? That's all they have to do. They don't have to risk. They just have to survive. Feed is going super wide. Can he stabilize? Yes, he can. And that will be the end. GG. And the last 3v3 finishes in a 7-1. Well, at least this one wasn't a complete stomp. And that's gonna be 5-1 overall for a NoLimit Proxiz.